I think that you have revealed to me today that because you see something frequently enough on a newspaper front page or an algorithm on your feed or any other feed, that you're prepared to just throw out critical thinking and...
Okay, so in this video, you're going to hear a call where a man argues that it's perfectly acceptable to view an entire group of people as predators based on what he's seen on social media. And thankfully, Sheila really holds him to account. If you want to see more videos like this, show your support for the channel by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Now let's watch this together and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
You were saying that why are we judging all immigrants by the same standard? All I'm saying to you really is that it's because they are guests, and therefore, you know, a guest in your house, I think. I mean, I live, Sheila, I live in Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm very, very careful that I do everything absolutely right. You know, I don't bid people, I wave, I'm super, super polite. Probably more so than I'm in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think that's the standard that immigrants should have as well.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's not the same. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the injustice and the dangers of deciding because one asylum seeker is, and inevitably in the numbers that we have, there will be more than one, is a sex offender, that we therefore leap to the conclusion that hotel, X hotel, Y hotel, Z hotel, is full of sex offenders. Oh my God, they're all sex offenders. You know that that's what's happening, Colin, in some quarters of this country.
But Sheila, you know why people do that, don't you?
Let's slow down. Do you accept that that's what's happening?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But
does it worry you?
I'm sorry, say again?
Does it worry you?
No, it doesn't. I'm as I said, coming back onto my original point, that if somebody comes as a guest to the UK for whatever reason, then I think that they should be judged by a higher standard than if somebody is native British or British born or whatever.
Yes, but that doesn't. That is a separate point to the thing I'm trying to get to the bottom of with you, which is, do you find it acceptable for all migrants and asylum seekers to be regarded with suspicion as predators simply because some are predators?
You know something, and I know you're not going to like this, but my answer really to that would be, I'm afraid, yes. I would rather... I have...
And why is that, Colin?
Well, I'm going to explain.
Okay.
I have a daughter that works in London. She lives in Clapham. Every time she walks home, I worry about her. And I think that part of that is part of the worry that I've got is really to do with immigration, because it might just be the media, but so often now when we see what's going wrong, when we see that people are molested, girls, ladies, women are molested, it just seems to be more coming from immigrants than anywhere else. And therefore my point is, I would rather be safe than sorry.
Hang on, what's your evidence for that? It just seems to be coming from immigrants more than anywhere else.
Well, you see, this is a question
there is no evidence that that's the case, Colin.
But Sheila, just forgive me, broadcasters like you, they come out and they say, well, what evidence have you got? The evidence really is the evidence that's splashed all over social media, that's splashed all over the newspapers. There are more and
you've examined that. You've examined those. Well, so what you're saying? Listen, Colin. You and I both abhor sexual violence, clearly, but I think that you have revealed to me today that because you see something frequently enough on a newspaper front page or an algorithm on your feed or any other feed, that you're prepared to just throw out critical thinking and to soothe yourself, maybe, or just because it's an anxiety for your daughters, and I understand that, you've decided to set aside critical thinking and decide that you're just going to think all migrants are rapists.
It's not that. It's the fact. The fact is, I would rather be safe than sorry, Sheila.
Okay.
And I think if you had a daughter, a 22-year-old daughter that's wandering around Clapham, or not wandering, but coming home from work at Clapham or Stockwell, whatever.
I have been that woman.
You would then be worried.
Well, Colin,
and you would say, how can I mitigate that worry?
Of course.
And for me, if we can just say, okay, let's do something more with immigrants. I'm not exactly sure what, but it does seem to me that if we point in their direction, we seem to be getting more than we should do, and therefore it's something to watch.
And if we point in their direction more often than we point in British men's direction, what does that leave us?
Well, that comes back to my original point with you regarding family member or not. I don't like any of it. I don't like when it's happened with British people, of any colour, creed or whatever.
But you don't worry about white British men doing it as much as dark-skinned migrants. Is that honest? Is that true?
No, but Sheila, we're adding to the problem.
No, but I'm asking you asking you whether you worry about. So I was just thinking while I was talking to you, Colin. Have you ever said to your daughter, "Tell me how often," or can I ask you how often you've been sexually harassed or assaulted? Has she ever told you?
It's not a question that a dad or a mum would ask their daughter. It's something you do. It's something. It's something you worry about.
But you don't want to know.
No.
Shall I tell you?
What the issues
shall I tell you? Because you said, imagine if you've got a 22-year-old daughter. I've been a 22-year-old daughter in London and other cities in this country and the wider world. When I was 11. I was followed by a white British man repeatedly from school on my journey home. That had to be dealt with. When I was about 15, 16, a boy of about 14 exposed himself, erect penis, to me and a friend at a bus stop. White British schoolboy. Awful. When I was about 17, a doctor sexually touched me where he shouldn't have, in front of my mother. A doctor, right? I could go on, but none of these people were migrants who've done this to me. I'm not saying all migrants are saints, but of course they're not, because in any largish group of people there will be deviant people. But that's true of the entire British population, Colin, as well. And for you to land, this is what worries me. And I'm not attacking you. I'm saying, can we all try and retain our critical thinking?
But Sheila, perhaps we'll leave on this point. I'm just adding that point to you, really, or just repeating my point. We are adding to the problem. I'm not saying that we don't have those issues in the UK, and I know what I would do with those people that did that stuff with you, but that's my extreme view. Put that to one side. So
we're adding
to the problem. By bringing in migrants.
But we're also adding to a solution by bringing in good migrants who don't molest people who care for people every day, people who become good neighbours, people who have skills we need. And that's the critical thinking bit, Colin. Neither of us are making excuses for sexual predators. I just think it's interesting that the last, few years, headlines and things like the protests at the Bell have led you to fret more about migrant people being a threat to your 22-year-old daughter as she goes from A to B in London than British-born men, whether they're black, white or Asian, but just men who were born here, raised here, maybe went to school with her. Less worried about them. That's where the critical thinking disappears, it seems to me.
All right, so let's break that down. First, she got him to admit the quiet parts out loud, fundamentally that he believes that it's okay to paint every single migrant as a potential predator. And then when she asked him for evidence, he offered nothing. No statistics, no official reports. He offers up social media and newspapers. He literally admits his worldview is shaped by an algorithm designed to feed him outrage. Then Sheila's move was brilliant. Instead of arguing with his flawed premise, she destroyed it with her own lived experience. She lists multiple traumatic instances of assault and harassment against her and points out that none of them were committed by migrants. They were committed by the very demographic he ignores, British, and assuming he means this, white men. And he had no answer for that. All he could weakly reply was, "We are adding to the problem." And he completely missed her point. The problem is already here. And singling out one group based on media fear-mongering is not just wrong, it's a dangerous distraction from the real issue. So it was a good example, really, of a call where critical thinking and personal truth dismantle a far-right narrative built entirely on fear and headlines. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons for more, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.